Queens, New York comes legendary MC and performing artist Prince POWERULE. Fresh off the release of POWERULE Volume 2, the follow-up to the classic POWERULE Volume 1, Prince POWERULE continues to deliver raw, authentic hip-hop at the highest level. A hip-hop icon and the frontman of the group POWERULE, one of the first groups signed to Interscope Records by Jimmy Iovine, and one of only 2 hip-hop acts on the roster alongside Tupac. Known for his unique voice and lyricism, he's built a deep and respected catalog that, in addition to the work with POWERULE, includes his recent work with the Leftovers NYC. He's known for classic records such as Smooth, Felipe Luciano, NYC Anthem, and Dia de los Reyes alongside Curious and the late great Chino XL. In addition to his own discography, he's collaborated with hip-hop legends such as Sadat X, Large Professor, Lord Finesse, Show, The Beatnuts, and many more. Tune in to learn about his journey in music, the making of POWERULE Volume 2, and what he's got coming next on the Cristopolis Show number 273. From Queens, New York comes legendary MC and iconic figure in hip-hop, Prince POWERULE. They recently released POWERULE Volume 2. We're going to bring him in and talk to him about this and what else he's got going on. Let's bring him in.
Yo, yo.
Salute.
What's up, bro?
I'm good, my brother. What an honor to have you on.
Thanks a lot, man.
I appreciate you, my bro. My bro,
Yeah,
Volume 2, POWERULE Volume 2. The
right.
Volume 1 is such an iconic album in hip-hop. Talk
Mm.
to us about the release of Volume 2.
Well, the release of Volume 2 is really just all the songs that we did as singles. It has a couple of the songs from POWERULE Volume 1, but mostly the singles after I finally got, my release from Interscope. I just started making a lot of singles instead of a full-length album.
Yeah.
So none of those songs, not even Smooth or let's say Gots to Get This and 5 Minutes to Showtime and the other one I have a Busta Rhymes called Rub Off the Wax. All of those Gots to Get This was with Large Professor. Young Stars from Nowhere was with Curious and Bobito Garcia.
Yeah.
None of those songs were able I didn't have access to them. Interscope owned them all.
Wow.
And now I finally got them back. And so I got those songs, and then plus all the other songs that I released as singles when I finally got off of Interscope, which I probably missed a couple of them because I had like 2 singles that were on Def Jam, and they never came out. But after that, I definitely had in 1995 on Hydra Records was a record by my man Mighty VIC from the Beatnuts called Dawn to Dusk. That was on the Hydra label. And also on the other side, I had Rocky Not Quick, and that was with Eric Sermon. So now
Wow.
you could get those, you know what I'm saying? This is all on Bandcamp, by the way. Everything's on Bandcamp.
Yeah.
So you could get those, and then you could get the next one that I had on Dolo Records that was with Stretch Armstrong's label, and that's Bright Light Big City. That one produced by my man VIC again. And then you had Well Connected, which was produced by us. Then you had the next single that was on my boy Sandy's label, rest in peace to Sandy,
Yeah.
Black Wax Records. And that was the song called Heating Up, which was produced by Mark Ronson. And the other side was produced by my man Larry Blaze, and that's called Prism.
Wow.
And then I had another another one produced by Mark Ronson again, and he did both songs on there. It's Your Right and Heating Up. So I had like 3-4 joints with Mark before,
Before Mark Ronson blew up, right?
yeah. They were pretty much his first records. Probably might have had one other one, I think, with some other guy, but yeah, we did a lot of work, man. We put out, like 3-4 joints,
That's
and
dope.
all those songs you could get now, where you couldn't get them before. Now you can go to Bandcamp, you can buy them, and you can donate as much as you want. You
Yeah.
could buy the whole album in its entirety, and so these are all the songs from 1987. I mean, from 1989 to 1997. Of
Yeah.
course, at that time, 89, 97, and 97, I stopped making music. I didn't make music again until 2016. I was
Got it.
just
So like around the time of the leftovers, is that when you came back to the mic?
no, actually, I came back. I did a project, and that features Lord Finesse, Psycho Les, Ayatollah, Large Professor again, my man DJ Axe, my man DJ M's, my man VIC. They all got together. You know, Tragedy Gaddafi's on there too. My man
Yeah.
Mike Miller's on there. That's called Power Rule the Anomaly. And that came out in 2016. And uh then I came out uh with like a follow up that had the songs but sort of a little updated a little bit.
Yeah.
And then and that's called the Anomaly Reloaded, and I think that was 2019. So or 2000 no 2018. Then
Yeah.
and then once I filled that obligation, I was with a certain company.
Yeah.
Once I did that, then the leftovers the era started. You know,
Got it.
2019. So I wore my leftovers jacket here.
Yeah. That's
So
dope.
yeah. Uh, I was like, fuck it, let me throw on the iconic one. So
Yeah.
um so that did very well. That was a project that, I was really it was a passion project for me, dealing with all the issues of gentrification in New
Yep.
York City. And I know a lot of people all over the country and all over the world can
Yeah.
identify the gentrification. So um a very satisfactory project for me, and I enjoyed it a lot. A lot of it was produced by my man Toast 187, and
Yeah. Toast
yeah,
187 has been busy too. Like, he
yeah,
had
he does
that,
his
but
thing.
lately he's been like, he's never stopped.
Oh no, no, he's kept on going and going and going. Oh, also on the Power Rule Anomaly Reloaded, I got Thurston Out with a third on there too, and we got like an iconic song called Porter Rock Steady, which is
Yeah.
great. And then, when you move into the leftovers thing, you got Felipe Luciano that has Curious on there, produced by
Yep.
Team Demo. Team
Legendary
Demo
Team Demo.
contributed. Team Demo contributed a lot of tracks to the leftovers projects too.
Yeah.
And my man Sunez de Allah is on there as well. I know I'm
Yeah.
going to forget somebody. Oh, peace to my man Bobito Ross, of course.
Of course.
And then you know um Uh, damn, what was the other joint? Oh, I also had this girl named Hazel Beats was featured on there too. She was on a couple of songs, but
Yeah.
yeah. So I really enjoyed making those albums, and that I kind of slowed down for a minute from there. Um, life just happens. You know what I'm
Yeah, for
saying?
sure.
Certain
Time
things.
time goes fast too. You got to be on it because if not, next thing you know, it's like 2 years passed.
Yeah. Oh, peace out to my man City the Great. He was on there too. Um, but they you know life happens and stuff like that, and then you got to take care of things that are a little bit more pressing. Also, it was kind of difficult for me because my favorite engineer moved to Florida, and I became so comfortable with him and got into such a great zone with him
Yeah.
that it was it was tough for me to find somebody else.
Yeah.
Now recently, I put out another song the other day, and it actually is going to be on Chuck D's got a new magazine coming out called Rap Central, I think Station. It's something like that,
Yeah.
and they're going to release a 12-inch on it, and I got a Power Rule leftover song on there called
Oh, that's dope.
Cold City Rockers. So that's going to be on vinyl. I don't even know if they're going to put it on digital. It's just going to be vinyl.
Yeah.
So that's cool. And I did another little song that I made up recently. I'm just starting to get warmed up again right now. So I
Yeah.
just did a song with my boy Mike Mountain that you can find
Yeah.
out
Yeah. The
there.
$100 bills joint.
$100 bills joint. You know, that's a song. There's a bunch of songs that I'm gonna be doing right now that I'm just taking songs that I really liked growing up, man, because, back in the days, of course, producers would want to find the perfect gem to,
Yeah.
sample that nobody else got. But now we just older, man, and I just feel like, all these new kids don't know those songs that we
That's
weren't
true.
allowed to use because they were too popular, right? You
Right.
know what I'm saying? So I was just like, I could do this myself. I could produce it, and I just used songs that I loved growing up. Like on that one, I used Strawberry Letter 23.
Yeah.
Hold on, hold on a second. Oh no, I think that's okay. I used Strawberry Letter 23. And then I used also this song called Start a Story by Heatwave. So it was real simple, but it was fun for me. And,
Yeah.
I was sharpening my lyrical sword again. So that felt good. And right now I'm working on a project with my man, Almighty VIC again. Um, we're working on an EP right now. So I've been in the studio again for the last couple of weeks. But I'm still gonna keep like, the little songs that I want to produce myself with uh, you know, songs that we grew up listening to the radio to. You
Yeah.
know, so when we used to listen to radio, AM radio, FM radio,
Yeah.
everybody knows we're old now, but it don't matter. There's no age limit on this stuff anymore, It's
Yeah.
we're the new jazz artists. So,
That's
you
true.
can go see a jazz artist play until they're like 80 years old. So,
Yeah.
or till they drop, it don't matter.
Yeah.
So,
That's a really good comparison. Like hip hop is like the new jazz.
oh, absolutely. Yeah, American born art form and stuff,
Yeah.
mostly developed by urban individuals, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So,
Yeah.
yeah, you know, I'm very fortunate to be able to still make music and for people to still care and individuals like yourself and you know, a lot of people have been supportive of the Power Volume 2, 89 to 97. And then, after that I'll do, whatever other year to the next other year. You know
Yeah,
what I'm
so
saying?
I want to make sure that people know where to get it. So if you basically go online and you just put in Power Rule Volume 2 plus Bandcamp, it'll show up immediately. It's right there.
Immediately you'll see
Yeah.
everything over there. And
Yeah.
then there'll be links to go to we have a whole line of clothing for it. And it's
Yeah, I've been seeing
created
all
by
the
my man
merch.
Bobito Ross. Like, yeah, there's a lot of merch and stuff like that. So,
Yeah.
we got patches and stickers and posters and all that. There'll be wax coming soon
Yeah.
for it too. So, um, like I said, I'm very fortunate to still be doing that.
Yeah.
And like I said, I'm very appreciative of all the individuals that have come out and given me some time to shine on their interviews
Yeah.
to speak about the project and have them express to me how they felt about Power Rule coming up. Oh, I also got a new project with Aguilar the Dawn too. I got a lot of things going on right now. Not right now. I'm working. Right now, I'm working
Yeah.
because I'm trying.
Aguilar's a legend also, so I can't wait to hear that.
Oh yeah.
You you talked to us about how Volume 2, like a lot of those songs, they were on different record labels, whether it was Interscope or Def Jam. Was there a process that you had to go through to get that music back, or was there just a date that by that date it kind of came back to you?
Well, the Interscope songs are the ones that I had to wait a certain amount of time.
Yeah.
So now I got those, and
Yeah.
the 12 inches was fun. I knew everybody I made a 12-inch with I knew personally. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So people aren't really tripping over downloads anymore. Ain't nobody making no money off of downloads. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm sure if I came out with a piece of wax, somebody might pop up and be like, "Yo, man," and I'll just be like, "Yo, man, this is back to the old days of hip hop. I'm pressing some shit up. You don't want it out there, then make me stop." That
Yeah. Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, it's we back to the renegade days again, man. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it's just like like I'll sound like these songs that I'm working on, they're not obscure samples. The ones with VIC are. and
Yeah.
all our publishing will be correct and all that stuff.
Right.
But these, the ones that I'm doing, I'm just gonna make them until somebody tells me cease and desist. And like, I'm no big company. Cease and desist and what? What do you like? What could you actually do to me? I'm not.
Right.
And I'm getting what? Whatever they donate on Bandcamp for the song. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
So I'm. It's got to be really big, or it gets picked up for something in a film or a commercial.
Right.
Then I'll get all the proper clearances and stuff like that. Until then,
Right.
man, just taking it back to the old school hip hop way of doing things.
Yeah.
Which all these new kids do it anyway. They don't
Absolutely.
they just throw out their stuff anyway.
Yeah, yeah. And that's how hip hop came about. I think that's the way it was. I mean, that's the original beauty of the craft. Is
Hmm.
you go and you create something, and then if it becomes something, then you deal with it.
Yeah, exactly. That's the you know. I mean, I'm sure there was a lot of people that, finally was just like, wow, these kids is really using our music and stuff like that. And some were flattered and some were pissed off.
Yeah.
And some, ended up being very happy about it because they made gangs of money when nobody was paying attention to them whatsoever.
A lot of records that producers, you know what I'm saying, found nobody knew them.
No.
Hip hop rediscovered those records.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So all the beat diggers from our generations,
Yeah.
your Q-tips and your beat miners, and there's so many. They
Yeah.
really went out of their way to find something that obscure that no one else really knew.
Yeah, yeah. With the new music that you're going to be coming out, because you just released Power Rule Volume 2. That's, Power Rule Volume 1, such an iconic album,
Hmm.
such a big deal. One of the first groups on Interscope, one of the
Right,
first Latino hip hop voices, right?
right,
Especially coming out of New York.
yeah.
Power Rule, the meaning behind Power Rule, all of that
Hmm.
is you're a big contribution to hip hop. But moving forward right now, Prince Power Rule. Then you've also got the leftovers.
Yeah,
How do
which
you
is
plan on
Marcano.
releasing new music? Yeah.
Huh?
How do you plan on releasing new music? Are you going to release it as Power Rule,
Oh, I think every
leftovers?
every every project is gonna have its own identity, just the same way. There'll be a Power Rule project. There'll be a Prince Power Rule, probably Prince Power Rule with VIC. There'll be more leftovers, and
Yeah.
then right now it's at the point, man. I'm in a stage in life where it's not that my expectations is low about something having it's more of a thing of put together a body work that
Yeah.
people will listen to, that you could go out and do shows overseas. That's
Yeah.
really, I'm compiling all that music and staying busy and trying to do enough interviews and flood with merch so that somebody be like, man, this dude is all over the place, man, let's get him to do these shows. So
Yeah.
that's really the main goal right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, the when it comes to actually monetizing music, we're not in the CD era anymore. Now it's the live
Well,
show
it's
era.
kind of coming back, the CD era. um
Yeah,
yeah.
the physical
Yeah,
media.
it's all about the physical properties, which makes me happy. You know what I'm saying? Because then that's with that right now. Once I do release more of the physical properties and the vinyl and the 7 inches and stuff like that, um, now I can start seeing the money that I've invested into something come back and help me to continue to keep doing it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the main thing is that making music is therapeutic for me. It's not the thing where I'm asking it to save my life, which it actually did back in the days. I was getting
Yeah.
into a lot of trouble before hip hop came along, and
Yeah.
it changed a lot for me. So at this point right now, it's something that's therapeutic, and I really like to do it. And it's it's a it's a little bit more than a hobby,
Yeah.
but it's more like dudes that get older and they got families and lives and stuff like that, and then they were underground success, like myself and everything, but not superstars, and
Yeah.
they go on little tours for like, hey man, I got 2 weeks off from work, man, let's go knock this out, let's
Yep.
go to Japan or let's go to Europe, or I could do shows on the weekends, stuff like that. So it's a good part of life, man. You know what I'm saying? Getting older could be very stressful sometimes, man. You know, especially
Yeah.
when you're popular enough that people are sharing pictures of you online when you're younger and everything. It kind of hits you, and then you're just damn. But slowly but surely, coming to the grips. But you know, I'm rec- reconciling with myself
Yeah.
that hey, this is just inevitable, and it is what it is, man.
Yeah.
And if you can still do it, enjoy it, and you know, if people still want to support you, you know, enjoy it, you know. And you
Yeah.
know, you never know. Hey, listen, same thing they say with the lottery. You got to be in it to win it. So I'm throwing my hat out there. I'm throwing it in the ring. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Something might stick. Who knows? It might be some late thing that happens that's just like, wow, what a great story that'll be.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, one of the things that's interesting is that, like, you know, we get older, right?
Mhm.
But your voice, bro, your voice is still that butter voice, you know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? That, like, made you famous, made Power Rule famous. I'm listening to your discography, right? And I'm like, this dude's voice is so special. You've got
Man,
one of those voices.
I'll tell you one thing. It was a 50-50 thing for me because I couldn't stand my voice. And when I heard it on records, really, I did when I used to make early demos, and I'm talking about 1986, 87, 88, before I came out in '89.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was loving it because I was just hearing myself on you know, a fake record. I mean, it was on a mixtape, but you know, to me, it was like, yo, we made a record. Yo, that's my voice
Yeah.
and everything. And then later on, you know, um, I liked it during the smooth days, and I liked it during the brick and the wall days, and a
Yeah.
couple of times on Power Rule Volume One. But when you know, uh, Power Rule Volume One, one thing about that album, there would have been a lot of bigger songs on that album, but I wasn't getting sample clearances a lot. Like nobody, a
Oh,
lot of the
yeah.
major artists that I wanted to use, they didn't let us use them, or the record company didn't want to lay out the money for the
Yeah.
samples. A couple did, a couple didn't. A lot didn't, really. So the album kind of suffered a little bit. And then when things like that happen, and then also I will say, man, um, they took care of me in the beginning when I first signed it because we were independent,
Yeah.
89, 90, and blew up on our own and did it, you know. So then
Yeah.
that's when other record companies started coming around and wanting to sign us and stuff like that. So, you know, we got a little bit of paper. But once I got that, man, I was more, I wasn't really paying attention to my craft that much. Every once in a
Yeah.
while I would, but not that much. And I would want to go hang out more than I would want to
Right.
uh
And the popularity and the fame and the
yeah,
attention,
you
you want to be
know, and you
outside.
know, girls is liking you for the first time. I mean, not the first time,
No, but it's a
but you
different
know,
level. Hey, it's a
but
different
yeah,
level of
yeah,
like, right?
a different type of girls were coming. You know, it wasn't just girls from around the neighborhood or something like that.
Yeah.
Now it's just like, oh shit, I go out to a downtown party. Oh shit, that chick is famous. Yo, that this, that.
Yeah.
Oh, a model. I never even thought about messing with a model. You know what I'm saying? Oh,
Yeah.
she's a designer. Oh, wow. Yo, she's a stylist. And you just like, you know, and seeing girls with their own apartments that wasn't Section 8. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, it's crazy. And then, you know, from
Right.
different countries and stuff. So I was just fascinated with it, and I was having fun with it, man. So it kind of slipped me up. Like I said, I got a little deal with Def Jam for a single. That didn't come out. I got a little developmental deal with Rough House Columbia. That didn't come out. I probably had a couple of more things. So, you know, I was kind of, you know, the hanging out thing carried me through. Then all of a sudden, I was starting to really miss making records. So, because after 91, 90, 92 was the last song that I had that had came out on Interscope. That was
Yeah.
Past the Vibes, and that was by produced by the Beatnuts, and it was cool. Um, I wanted to go in a different direction, but like I said, a lot of sample clearances didn't go through. I wanted to do a lot of rock joints, But I be sampling like Led Zeppelin and stuff like that, and Sabbath and
Yeah.
everything, and they wasn't clearing samples at that time.
Yeah, those records
So
would have been so dope if you could have got those back then. Cause that, like, from I remember when when I interviewed you in the past, you love rock and roll coming up.
oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah, I mean, right now, look, I got my weekend band. I got Crime Wave Music. You know,
Yeah,
we had a video out now for Thunderbolt and Lightfoot. We have another one for Super Predators, and now we're gonna have another one soon by a joint that was made by Team Demo called Raised by Wolves. So
that's
that's
dope.
coming as well. So like I said, I got like four different projects right now. But like initially, what I wanted to do was, the rock rap thing had gotten kind of burnt out with Beasties and with and Run DMC and Public Enemy. People
Yeah,
weren't really into it anymore. But I had a new take on it. You know what I'm saying? So I wanted to do it and then, a lot of those samples that didn't go through. I set them up with Brick in the Wall first. That was, Pink Floyd,
yeah,
and like I said, look, we never cleared that. You know what I'm saying? So, Brick in the Wall. And then I came out, my first thing on Interscope was called That's the Way It Is. And I sampled Bullet in the Blue Sky by U2 and
yeah,
Freedom Train by Lenny Kravitz. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to have more singles like that. I
yeah,
kind of wanted to do that. And then you turn around 2, 3 years later, now you got Rage Against the Machine, and you
yeah,
got that whole rock rap generation that came. And I
yeah,
used to sit there and be like, damn, oh well, whatever. And then, what happened was, uh, after I was able to come off Interscope and do some things, and I went back and I started getting into the studio more, and then started making those singles in 1995, you know, I felt like I was just even so much better as an MC. I feel like
yeah.
I'm a 20 time better MC than even any of those songs even back then. I
Wow.
think the lyrics and that I'm spitting now and the subject matter for the most part
Yeah,
is the maturity of who I am at this point.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good. You mentioned Crime Wave. Can you talk to us about that? And where people can find that music.
Hmm? Say that again?
Yeah, you mentioned Crime Wave. Can you talk to us about Crime Wave and who's in Crime Wave and where we can find that?
Yeah. So the Crime Wave music, you're going to be able to find that on Bandcamp as well. Everything's on Bandcamp. I don't use streaming services no more. It makes no sense. I'm not
Yeah.
getting anything from it.
It
What?
makes no sense, right? It
Right.
literally makes no sense.
It is, I mean, for what? It doesn't matter. I'm not getting anything. At least I can get what, my minimum, whatever I charge on Bandcamp, like 2.99 for a
Yep.
song, and then I get, whatever somebody wants to donate. One day you sit up there and then be like, holy shit, somebody gave me $50 for like two singles,
Yeah.
because they
Right,
know
right, because
that,
they love you. They love what you're
yeah,
about.
that's
They
there,
want to
yeah,
support.
yeah, that's what it is. You
Yeah.
know, um, so. Um, Crime Wave Music is on there. That's my boy Pat Delaney. He's on bass guitar. My man Caesar, he's on a lead guitar. Then my boy John Stania, he was signed to Interscope at the same time as us, but he was on the rock side of things, and we became friends. So he plays on there too.
Mm.
And he was in Helmet and Tomahawk, and he's currently in a group called Battles. Um, and my boy Sandy, he's a new keyboard player, so he's on there. And we're from all different cultures, and we appreciate each other. And
Sure.
we're those rare individuals that have an affinity for hip hop just as much as we do for rock and roll.
Yeah.
And so that's on there, and and I'm currently working on that, and hopefully we'll be dropping an EP for that this summer. Hopefully this summer, man. That's why I'm doing all these interviews now to set it up, because this summer going into the fall should be a very, very busy time, and you're going to be able to find a lot of content from Crime Wave Music, Power Rule, Marcano, Prince Power, whatever it is.
Yeah. Yeah, you busy. This is the time.
Yeah.
In the in the leftovers, NYC, you
Hmm.
touched on a lot of what was happening in New York City with the gentrification.
Hmm.
You covered it well. What are your feelings right now with New York City? You know, you came up in the era in the '80s and the the beginning of hip hop, and then you've watched the city go through so many different kind of eras. What are your thoughts right now as a New Yorker, as a person that's an iconic figure in hip hop, and who's now, like a statesman for hip hop and for music and for New York? What are your feelings on where it is today?
New York City, I mean, listen, I'm not going to sit here and be the grumpy old man. The leftovers NYC was me kind of doing that already. You know, it is what it is, man. It ain't going to change. They'll say that they'll buy some affordable housing, have people in there, but, people can't really move the way they want to move because it's
Yeah,
just so expensive. And there'd be people from my generation, like we could say we're the generation that, okay, we were there for the elements that ended up creating hip hop. Incredible fashion that came out of New York City, Calvin Klein and Donna Karan and you know Diane von Furstenberg, and I mean crazy stuff.
yeah,
And then we were there for when the city was totally broke, and the president at that time, Gerald Ford, told New York City to drop dead. And I used to
wow,
walk around in streets where there was no garbage pickup. There was crazy violence. You
yeah,
know, um, I used to go to 42nd Street. I was talking to Tamal the other day, and we
yeah,
were talking about, going to 42nd Street and enjoying ourselves and having a lot of fun, but it was fucking crazy dangerous. Now it's
yeah,
Disneyland, you know what I'm saying? But, going to certain neighborhoods, you want to go see some girl and over there and, getting chased out of the neighborhood. And,
yeah,
you have to be very careful where you go. Well, you know, and then the AIDS epidemic comes up, and then the
yeah,
crack epidemic comes up, and then you had blackouts going on in New York City, and
yeah,
then then 9/11 comes. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Uh, a lot of stuff and tragedies that we survived through. So the old school New Yorkers were built a little bit differently.
yeah,
And then throw gentrification on top of that, with people just get kicked out and have to go move to Pennsylvania or to fucking
yeah.
Orlando, you know,
Right. Or
um,
upstate.
or upstate,
Yeah,
not by choice because they just had to.
yeah,
Um, so we've seen a lot of things and survived a lot of stuff. I don't want to take away from what these kids, what their experience is going to be with New York now. I'm sure
yeah,
they think their time is the greatest time. We
yeah,
thought our time was the greatest time. We went to clubs and like Roseland and Latin Quarter and 1018 and Northmore and all these places where you know hope you better not have no jewelry on and no shit, man, because you may not make it out of that motherfucker alive.
yeah,
And you better hope you didn't by accident talk to somebody's girl, because then you may not make it alive because dudes was walking around like packs of wild animals.
wow.
You got your low lifes running around, you got your Decepticons, you got fucking ball busters. The list could go FMDs, Filthy Mad
Right.
Dogs, Midtown Boys, CC Boys. I mean, all of these things, but we were willing to go step into that fire and into those type of environments just to hear the music that we loved.
It's good.
Just for the music, of course, if you talking to girls and stuff like that, and so we had to go. There was a lot of survival that had to go on just in order to hear your music and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So I don't know what the experience for other people is now. I know they got a lot of nice places where the new young artists perform, and everything
Right.
is safe. They ain't no shit going on there.
Right.
I'm talking about like the hip hop artists. I'm not talking about the trap artists. That's a different thing. They developed their own style of rap music because it's not
Right.
even hip hop. It's rap, and they'll tell you, I don't do hip hop. I do rap music.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, they got their own certain amount of danger because now most of the time they're performing in a strip club where dudes is
Right.
drunk and showing off and want to be the big dude and all that stuff, you know. So that's their thing. My thing was, it took decades for us to develop what we became, and the
Yeah.
city was the energy that created it. We didn't create it by just being like on the internet or something like that. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? It was
Yeah.
a whole different experience. And like I said, I'm not saying mine's is better than anybody else's. Now, if you get me a room with a bunch of my friends and we had a party, that's all you're gonna hear. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right.
Yo, man, this fucking wasn't like the way it used to be. La, 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 la. But everybody's got their own journey. But I miss my old New York. Like I went to the studio the other day, and I was down the block from Cooper Projects, right? Still going on over there at Cooper Projects, but like 1 block away, everything's super gentrified, man. There's
Yeah.
mad people fucking in coffee shops and jogging and walking dogs and whatever they do and Williamsburg turned into that. It just keeps
Right.
on pushing out further and further. The
Yeah.
Bronx, Manhattan, everything is getting gentrified. So when I walk through there, yeah, I can appreciate that it's safe and there's cool things to do. But then again, it's just like I don't recognize my city anymore. There's
Yeah.
nothing about my city that I recognize. Where dudes would fucking doing graffiti and everything like that. Now people get paid to do murals, and most of the
Right.
time they don't even pay the classic guys, the classic writers that were
Right.
out there. You know what I'm saying? They pay some young kid to go do it. But you know
Right.
what? That, like I said, that's their journey. But like as a real New York City dude, most of the time I don't recognize my city anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Being that you were there at the beginning of hip hop, right? And you literally have, iconic records that are like foundational to hip hop. And then you kind of move, you love hip hop culture, but also the music. What are your feelings on where hip hop is today?
But somebody asked me this the other day, man. It's like, I really don't give a fuck about what
Yeah.
the state of hip hop is.
Yeah.
What are my feelings about hip hop today? You know what? I love all kinds of music, and I always did.
Yeah.
Um, I'm not, waving the flag for hip hop like that anymore.
Yeah.
I just listen to the music I like, and there's plenty of good hip hop artists.
Yeah.
Um, just look for them. You can find them. I mean, a perfect example is individuals like Joey Badass, J. Cole, fucking Kendrick Lamar. Or you're gonna tell me those dudes ain't hip hop? They're crazy
Right.
hip hop.
Right. They're
You know?
crushing it.
Yeah, and you could go to there's dudes from my generation that are still doing good and probably are doing better now, like what they did before. Like if you look like at a story like a brother like Nems, you know what I'm saying? Nems was doing his thing, but he wasn't as popular as he is now.
Right.
Nems is huge now. You know what I'm saying? Good for him. It happened for him later on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you never know. Like I said, you always got to throw your hat in the ring. But
Yeah.
you got a guy like Homeboy Sandman. He makes great hip hop. There's a lot of guys. My boy Curious still makes great hip hop. He's
Yeah.
got a
Super
bunch of
active.
dudes. He rocks with a bunch of dudes that I don't even know who they are, but they sound very hip hop to me.
Yeah.
So it's just like I got plenty to choose from, plenty to choose from. And
Yeah.
then it's so and if you complain about not wanting to find it, technology is itself will tell you to find it. You could go to ChatGPT and say, show me a playlist of artists that sound like this genre of music from this time.
Yeah.
You'll come up with a fucking giant playlist, man. Then you could just go through it. You know?
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
sure, you know, I'm sure the R&B artists feel the same way as the hip
Right.
hop artists feel. You know, subject matters have changed a lot, but you look at like an artist now that like girls are really over sexualized and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Well, fucking, I guess that time came because dudes were destroying women back in the days, man. You just
Yeah.
look like a group like Two Live Crew and the shit that they was saying
That's true.
you know,
That's true.
it's just like, yo, I can't be mad at them. It ain't my type of thing, you
Right.
know. But we didn't think Two Live Crew was the most talented group out there when they first came out,
That's right.
you
They
know.
they were
But
they were a certain shtick. That was their thing.
but that was their thing. But that was from their neighborhood. That's how they grew up. They grew
Yeah.
up on that bass music, and they grew up in a very heavily sexualized environment, and
It's
that's
hot
what
all
they
the
did.
time. It's
Uh,
Miami. It's hot every day. Wearing, you know what I'm saying? They're wearing
you
little
know what I'm
shirts and
saying?
shorts.
Yeah, man. So, and same thing with, a lot of dudes from Chicago and ATL. They're products of their environment and what they're
Yeah.
going through. So
Yeah.
I ain't mad at, let them do whatever they want. Hey, listen, man, there'll be a couple of days where I'd be like, man, I want to listen to some real ignorant shit right now, and I'll throw
Yeah.
on a fucking dope ass trap song. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
um, I'm just I don't trip over it, and that's why I don't care about the state of hip hop. I just listen to the music that I want to listen to, really,
Yeah.
and I don't even have to just frequent places that are only playing hip hop and shit like that.
Yeah.
Sometimes I might want to go to some little lounge or something like that. I got friends that throw hip hop parties and stuff like that, and their parties are good, and I can always go to their parties and stuff like that. I got multiple options. Most of the time, I'd rather just hang around my neighborhood and watch the baseball game or watch the basketball game. All I can think about right now is like, all right, I'm gonna get off the phone with Chris. I'm gonna go walk my dog and listen to see if the manager of the New York Mets got fired today
Right. Right.
because
That's
he
what you want to know. What's going on
because
with the
he
Mets?
because he's red. They ready to fucking hang that boy. And then my next thing is okay. Now tomorrow I'm gonna watch the Knicks. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And it's just
Right.
like, and then you start with the Mets again. And then oh, the NFL draft just happened. The Jets had a great draft. I'm like more concerned with those things than what the state of hip hop is.
Yeah.
You know what? Because I'm not influenced by any MCs anymore. My years of being influenced by an MC, that shit is passed a long time ago. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? When I was loving Tito from the Fearless Four, going straight in to, Run DMC, LL, Rakim, and Cool G Rap, who I think is the greatest rapper of all time. Soloist
Uh-huh.
rapper of all time, Cool G Rap is the best. And I think the best group of all time. And I'm not putting that even into a category of, rock or anything. Public Enemy is the greatest group of all time. To me, you can't
Yeah.
tell me no.
Yeah.
So I'm good. I already got my influences, so it doesn't really matter to me.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's super powerful, and I appreciate the context, and it's real. You
Yeah,
know, one of the things that's interesting is that you came up like in the video, the music video era, right? That
right.
that played a big deal, and then later on, we went through the whole social media, MySpace, and iTunes and all that. But we're interestingly entering an era right now with AI and getting information from AI. As a person that's kind of gone through all these eras, I just wanted your thoughts on how you're using AI and how it's working its way into music, and your thoughts, if you have any, on AI in music, in hip hop, and how you're using it.
Well, I'm actually not using it for hip hop whatsoever.
Yeah,
But what I do use it for, because there's other interests that I have.
yeah,
So I like to write, like short stories and little books and stuff like that.
yeah,
And funny, quirky shit, for like kids and fucking, dog owners and shit like that. Because I
yeah, yeah,
love
yeah,
my
yeah,
dog. And ChatGPT has made it so fucking simple for me because
yeah,
I'll put all the stuff that I want and it can fill in little parts that maybe I didn't think of. I might be
yeah,
cheating a little bit, but you know what? That's how I'm using it.
yeah,
I'm using it for that. And I'm using it, as a, you know, hey man, I'm trying to go to this place and whatever, and boom, and I got the one where the British dude talks back to you and shit, and he says, and
you
it,
picked
and
the
it, and it,
British voice.
and he's so polite and shit, and he's like, and then he's giving me so many suggestions on what I could do and what I could use this for, and do you want something that's more like this? And it was just like, man, this is awesome. I really enjoy it. I use it all the time, so I like it from that perspective. The perspective that anybody who's in my age group and stuff like that is what's you know if you read certain news feeds and stuff like that, well, a lot of news is just fucking propaganda.
For
So
sure.
I'm just
Absolutely.
doubting almost anything that I even see. I just try to go with my feelings and my emotion.
Yeah.
Um, a lot of people are just worried about, the not being able to have jobs, and that shit has got to be fucking terrifying,
Yeah.
because it's taking so many jobs. So,
Yeah.
like before, you could see like a lot of people who maybe had, those white collar jobs that they
Yo,
don't
those
need
are the
them.
first ones going. Those are the
First one,
dudes getting axed.
they don't need them because it's all analytics now. They use analytics in sports. They use analytics for everything, and that fucking and AI could just break it down. So well, I don't need this motherfucker to tell me this shit. Here's all the numbers. We look by the numbers. I got
Yeah.
somebody like that. That's why you see a lot of dudes that are doing real well now and they're really getting paid is the dudes that still got to trade for manual labor that you can't do inside of a factory. Like somebody who's going to come and fix your whatever electrical system in your
Yeah, it's
house
hot
and this
outside and the air
and
conditioning break.
right.
You
That's
need
right.
that guy.
I got a phone call today already for my homeboy Tommy to get two jobs to do AC. People trying to get ready and the ACs ain't working right now.
Right.
Those dudes, you barely can get them. It take them like 2 months to get to you sometimes, unless you know them real good.
Yeah.
So all the plumbers and stuff like that, your carpenters and things like that, all those dudes got to give it to them. This is their time now. They're making it.
Yeah.
They're doing well.
Yeah.
But a lot of the jobs that I do, like in the customer service industry with the
Yep.
doorman stuff, a lot of the new buildings that are being built now, they
Yep.
don't use a doorman. People will just want to type in the keypad, and the UPS guy or whatever, he types in the keypad, he puts the package in the back package room, takes a picture of it, emails it to you, so now you know it's there. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
where back in the days, you had people, I'm in the union, so I'm gonna be all right for the most part because the union will still fight to get more buildings that that have actual doormen and porters working there.
Yeah.
So, but if you just trying to get into the game now, and I ain't even full time right now, and I've been
Yeah.
doing this here for like 3 years. I've
Wow.
been waiting for my slot to open up, but nobody's leaving those jobs anymore, man. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Dudes are leaving. Unfortunately, either they get so sick that they can't work no more, or they're gonna retire at like fucking 70 something years old.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you could be waiting a long time. So
Yeah.
anyway, it is what it is, man. But yeah, the thing with AI, it's gonna take away from a lot of jobs, a lot of jobs, and it must be a scary time for a lot of people.
Yeah, no, I appreciate the insights and that's really valuable, especially coming from somebody that's gone through so many different eras of music and business and technology. So
Right?
to
Yeah.
see where it is right now, I want to make sure that people know, you've got multiple projects going on. I want to make sure people know where they can go and get the music and get the
Yeah.
merch, right? Because I've
Yeah.
seen the dope merch on your website, on
Yeah.
your page. You got the dope new merch.
Yeah, and that's thanks a lot to Bobito Ross, and I got my man Sharif got Profit, my boy from Classic Material, gives me stuff all the time. I'm lucky that way, man. This jacket was made for me by these dudes called the Option A back in the days.
Wow.
Like it kind of makes you feel good that people want to give you things because then they see that, hey man, he has a certain visibility and
Yeah.
a certain following that we appreciate. Yo, to hold that, take that. So I appreciate that. But yeah, because it's about that time to walk the dog. She's number one priority. So,
Absolutely. I got mine too. I know what you mean.
yeah. So everything you can go to my IG page and there's links for the merch there, and there's a
Okay.
link to the Bandcamp page, and the Bandcamp page has everything. And then if you don't see it there, just it should be there. Crime Wave Music should be there. Power Rule should be there, both on Bandcamp, and then of course the Bobito Ross for the merchandise. So all those things should be there for you.
That's dope. That's dope. Prince POWERULE, my brother, it's an honor to build with you again.
Thank you
Power
so
Rule
much.
Volume 2 available right now in the Bandcamp. All the
Right.
classic material from
Yep.
back in the day. An incredible follow-up to Volume 1, which is such a
Yeah.
classic album. Plus, you
Right.
shared with us everything you got coming up, everything
Right.
with Crime Wave, and other material you got dropping. It's going to be a hot summer for you.
Thank you very much, sir. And I'm glad to speak to you, man.
Yeah, my brother. It's an
All
honor to
right.
build. Build you
Okay.
soon. Peace.
Peace.